Nobody saw this coming. When everything seemed set up for a calm end to the season, with Zay Flowers heading to Pro Bowl and finishing the year on a high, one unexpected decision completely changed the mood. Out of nowhere, his name disappeared, and that immediately sparked questions, surprise, and a lot of curiosity about what really went on behind the scenes. And what makes this even more intriguing is that we're not talking about just any player. This is the centerpiece of the Ravens' passing attack in 2025, the guy who carried the team through tough stretches and became a central figure alongside Lamar Jackson. The reason behind this move, the impact of it, and what it says about Flowers' present and future go way beyond the Pro Bowl. And that's exactly why this story deserves your attention all the way to the end. You were ready to see Zay Flowers on the field one more time, closing out the season with that laid-back Pro Bowl vibe, when the news hit out of nowhere. With no warning, it was decided that he wouldn't be playing the game. NFL insider Jordan Schultz broke the news, and within hours, everything changed. The spot that belonged to Flowers went to Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins, and just like that, Flowers' name was off the final list. What stood out the most was the silence around the decision. There was no official statement from the NFL, no public explanation from the Ravens, and nothing from the player himself at first. For anyone who follows the team closely, it was a total shock because Flowers had been treated as a lock, almost an automatic selection, given how important he was all season long. And this wasn't some minor detail. Flowers wasn't just another guy on the roster. He was one of the faces of an offense that fought just to stay competitive throughout the year. Seeing his name pulled from the Pro Bowl at the very last minute completely changed the expectations for anyone hoping to wrap up the season watching Baltimore's top talent on display. This sudden absence didn't involve just any player. It involved the one name that carried the Ravens' passing game in 2025. And understanding who Zay Flowers is right now and how big his season truly was helps explain why this news hit so hard. To really understand why missing the Pro Bowl mattered this much, you have to look closely at the year Zay Flowers just had. In 2025, he put together the best season of his career, topping 1,200 receiving yards and showing up week after week as a constant presence in the offense. This was a short hot streak. It was consistency from start to finish, proof that his growth is real. That performance put Flowers in a different tier across the league. It's no coincidence he was elected to the Pro Bowl for the second straight year, something only a handful of receivers managed this early in their careers. Ever since his rookie season, when he already made noise by finishing near the top of the Offensive Rookie of the Year voting, he's done nothing but take steady steps forward. Even with those strong numbers, the most impressive part was the situation around him. Flowers produced without having a dominant offense supporting him. He didn't rely on easy plays or perfect schemes. Many times, he created something out of nothing, turning routine passes into big gains. And when a player starts doing that naturally, he stops being just a promising name and becomes part of the team's foundation. That responsibility only grew when the rest of the receiving group couldn't keep up at the same level. As the season went on, it became clear the Ravens' passing game simply didn't work without Zay Flowers. DeAndre Hopkins and Rashad Bateman had disappointing years, and that put even more pressure on his shoulders. In many games, Flowers wasn't just the best option. He was almost the only reliable one. Mark Andrews helped in key moments, but most of the workload still ran through Flowers. Short routes, deep shots, third downs, high-pressure situations, everything funneled his way. It felt like the offense could finally breathe whenever the ball was heading toward number 4. That reality showed his true value to the roster. Flowers didn't just show up on highlight reels. He showed up when the team needed him most. Even in tough games when the offense stalled, he was the one keeping the Ravens alive until the final whistle. And when a player reaches that level of importance, how he plays matters just as much as raw talent. With Flowers, the difference isn't only in the stats, but in how he creates advantages in spaces where almost none exist.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video, but before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
What makes Zay Flowers different isn't just that he's fast. It's how that speed shows up on the field. On deep routes, he forces defenses to back off. With the ball in his hands, he changes direction so quickly it feels like he slips away before contact even arrives. That style turns simple passes into big plays. A short throw suddenly becomes a long gain because defenders can't bring him down easily. He accelerates, slows down, cuts, and pops up in another part of the field, always leaving defenders one step behind. That explosiveness also creates opportunities for everyone else. Defenses have to account for Flowers at all times, which opens space for other players to operate. Even when he doesn't touch the ball, his presence alone changes how opponents line up. With that kind of impact, it's impossible to talk about the Ravens' future without focusing on him. When talent, production, and chemistry come together, the conversation stops being about the present and shifts to what's coming next. With Lamar Jackson running the offense, Zay Flowers has become much more than a fast target. The connection between the two has grown visibly, game after game, building trust and timing that can't be rushed. Losing that in the future would be far too big of a blow for the team to accept lightly. That's why, even if a contract extension isn't being discussed publicly right now, it's already there in the background. The Ravens know that sooner or later, they'll have to pay Flowers like a centerpiece of the offense. This isn't just about numbers. It's about the identity of the team. In that context, missing the Pro Bowl becomes a secondary issue, especially when you consider the personal moment Flowers is going through after the recent loss of his grandmother. In situations like that, stepping away makes sense and deserves respect. In the end, what stands out isn't his absence from the Pro Bowl, but everything Zay Flowers represented throughout the season. He showed who he is, showed what he can become, and made it clear that the future of the Ravens runs directly through him. Zay Flowers closed the season by sending a clear message, even without stepping onto the Pro Bowl field. What he did in 2025 mattered more than any exhibition game. He carried the offense when almost no one else could, became a reference point week after week, and proved he's not just a promising talent, but a foundational piece for the Ravens. Missing the Pro Bowl grabs attention, but it doesn't erase what he built all year long. When you combine production, real impact on games, and the growing chemistry with Lamar Jackson, it's impossible to see Flowers as a temporary piece. Baltimore's offensive future runs through him, and the decisions the team makes from here on out will say a lot about the direction of the franchise. The Pro Bowl is in the past, but the consequences of this season are very much alive. Now I want to hear from you. Does Zay Flowers' decision change how you see his future with the Ravens? Do you think the team should already be thinking about an extension, or is it still too early? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's keep this conversation going.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.